Right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to SAF1. I'm a new voice you won't have heard before in this league, so I'm Matt, and joining me for the season is my co-commentator, Cadwell. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How are we doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm very excited for this one. It was a very close singles championship last season, won by 9 points in the end by Trav, and Renault got the double with the constructors as well. So I'm sure you'll be a lot more familiar than some people about how tight the battle was, but let's hope it's anywhere near as close in this season. Of course, a full calendar. And just to let everybody know real quick, the points will be for top 15 this season, plus an extra point for driver of the day, and I think 2 if you finish. So you can finish 18th and get a couple of points just for turning up, so that's always good to see. It always encourages some races to stay if it's not going their way, because you could always get a point at the end. Ooh. Don't turn on the telemetry, naughty. I think that's... So, Australia, round 1. Is it one of your favourite tracks to watch or race on?
It's a very hard circuit to race on, so I wouldn't say it's my favourite circuit. I wouldn't say it's a good one to watch, but there has been some interesting battles and overtakes around here in the past. So it should be really good fun today to see what all 19 drivers we have today will do around here.
Yep, just looking as to why there's a yellow flag, it's probably just someone backing off. Seemed to be that's the case. Anyway, it's all cleared up now, but as you say, it's very tight and twisty around here. It's not a great track for overtaking, but there are a few places in which you could do it. You could do it through into turn 2 if you have DRS after the pit straight, of course, and into the fast chicane. People might be too wide as they're trying to push, so that could also give you an extra opportunity in which to send an overtake, but there aren't many places. So anyone you think we should keep an eye on today as to potential pole position person or winner of the race?
People to keep an eye on for today, I would probably say it's anyone's game for pole, because last season it was a quite jumbled up grid. But let me just check if they're here. I would say for who's here, maybe look at Mackett, Quintin, which is SAF1 Quintin, by the way, and Nadim. I think the guys who are going to be quite close to the top today. Nadim's here, is he? Let me just check. No, I don't think he is actually, is he?
Not seeing him, but...
No, he's not. So, but yeah, and just another quick thing as well, very quickly, for everyone who is watching as well. We don't have Phantom tonight. He have some family commitments to do tonight, so instead we've got his replacement, which is Brandon tonight, which is Brandon 6092.
Okay, I'm sure he'll be looking to get off to a good start as a fill-in. But you mentioned Mackin a few moments ago as someone to watch, so I'm going to take you over the line with him as he finishes his first flying lap of the session, and it will be across the line with a 1 minute 19.8. That is a very good benchmark for your first lap of the day, and that is a good 6/10 quicker than anyone else has been so far.
It is very quick.
Let's take a look at rail 2909 in the Alfa Romeo. There's so many cars beginning with A. Sorry, I'm going to do that a lot, but even worse on the next game. It's 2 more. Anyway, his 26.8 sector 1 is on the medium tyre, so he's not going to be the quickest, but he may go to softs later on in the session. But for now, we'll see what he does, as he's navigating some traffic, so that might cost him a little bit, but not too much, hopefully, as he comes up to Mackett, who's on the straight, and he gets nicely out of the way, having done his flying lap. And he might get a little bit towards the third DRS zone, which is absolutely pointless as he comes up to the back of Dexter, who may or may not be on a lap. I don't think he is. Yeah, he gets nicely out of the way. Don't think he held him up too much, especially on the medium tyre. You need all the speed you can get as he comes up to the penultimate corner. Now, what can he do as he comes around the final corner, which is trickier than it looks around here, because if you get on the power slightly too early, you're going to be in the wall knocking off a wheel, but a 21.6 on the medium is not too bad at all.
It's not at all. But on the medium tyres, definitely not.
Yeah, we've got Trav off the track there, just letting someone by. He was on a lap, but he's obviously gone a little wide, so he's... And Quinty with two ends has retired in the pit lane. By the look of it, has he? Or has he crashed at the... I think he may have crashed actually. There's a car stationary. Let's have a look. We're on board with the McLaren, and yes, you see the car there. I don't know how he's quite managed to... That is an unusual place to lose it, but never mind. His qualifying for now is over. I'm sure he'll bounce back in the race as Alonso completely messes up the fast left-right chicane, which is another problem point for the race. You have to get that completely right, otherwise you will be ripping a wheel off, and it's one of the fastest, trickiest corners you can take. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's multiple retirements through there in the race. Let's find someone who's on a lap. We'll go with Brandon, as you say. He's fill-in for today, so let's find out how he gets on. Pretty solid so far. Looks to be a solid lap anyway. Not too spectacular, but solid. That's all you can really ask for. 48.2 through sector 2. That's going to put him up there somewhat. Keep getting distracted by small yellow flags, but it doesn't really affect anyone in qualifying. You got to remember that. It's only the race where you can't overtake people. As he comes around to the final corner, nicely on the power as he comes out of it on the curb, and he crosses the line with a 20 point that. Yeah, that's very quick. Puts in P2 for now, and he's got to be pleased with that.
He sure has, and just as well, Quintin, the other Quintin, has just come and set his lap in 5th now. He is a 20.6, so he's showing his pace. But yeah, it's a surprise to see Brandon at the top there. We don't actually know who Brandon is, because he's a new driver for this season. Loads of new drivers as well, as you can see if you were watching last season on this game. Just to give you a few of them very, very quickly, we've got Brandon, Paul, and you've got Matty as well in the top 10, who are the 3 new drivers for tonight.
Okay, very awesome to know, and I'm on board with Mata, who's gone purple through sector 1, so he's definitely going to be up there as well when it comes to the end of this lap. This is probably his first run in quali, so he'll probably do another one, perhaps. He's gone a little bit wide though in sector 3, so he may have scrubbed a little bit of time off, but for now he's coming around the final corner very nicely, and he looks very handy through there as he opens the DRS, puts the power down, crosses the line with a 19.9, just a 10th off. Very handy lap though.
It is. That is a very good lap there. There's another car who's just starting or just about, I think he's on a lap, is he? Yeah, it's Dexter. He's now on a lap, about to come towards the end of the lap here in sector 3. So that's going to be interesting to see what he can do, and he's down in 15th at the 15th at the moment.
I think we have seen our first victim claimed of the left-right chicane as Dexter crosses 21.6. Not as much of an improvement as he needed, but starting 15 in this field is not too bad. It's a very competitive field. Let's just see if we can find out. Yeah, looks as though someone is a victim of where I expect a lot of crashes to happen in the race. Now, you can't really call it a commentator's curse because I didn't name anybody. So I think I can get away with that one, but I'm sure management will have a word with me later if I can't.
No, I think you'll get away with that. I think you'll be fine.
Excellent. You don't want a new boy coming in and being a curse on your drivers, do you?
Definitely not.
Here comes Conrad though, round the penultimate corner. Up on the grass a little bit, but manages to keep the speed up so it won't cost him too much, but it won't be oh well, I was going to say he won't be quickest overall, but turns out he was, and what do I know? That's why I'm the new boy around here. Good lap. Now, Tiger Bolt in the other Alfa Romeo. I always pause slightly when I say that just to make sure I get the right one, but hang on. The timing screen's gone a little bit wonky on me, so I don't know what's going on, but it said Tiger Bolt was doing a 1 minute 12 lap for a second, but now it's corrected itself. As Duke's in the Ferrari is starting the lap, I think. Is it? I don't know. The timing tower's gone all broken on me. It says he's doing 1 minute 31 through sector 1. That's not quite right. So let's see. We won't know what he does until he crosses the line, so we'll come back to him shortly. And now he's on an out lap. Oh dear. That's all we need. Let's have a look at Quintin with 1N, who is on a lap. I can confirm that. And we're just ticking down to the just over 5.5 minutes to go in the session. It's flying by, and that's that could have been an incident, but well avoided. It may have put him off a little bit on exit, as he's lifted off. He's had his lap ruined there, so hopefully he'll be able to go again. Let's have a look at Paul McGuinness, who can be very quick on his day. I know about Paul's history in other leagues and stuff. I'm familiar with some of these drivers from racing, so I'm looking forward to seeing them all together on one grid. Solid effort so far through into sector 2 for Paul McGuinness. He's coming up to the... I think he may have invalidated there though, unfortunately, but he's going to be cross with himself for that. Let's have a look at Quintin with 1N, who's, as we thought, backing off, going in the pits, getting some fresh tyres, and we'll go again. Now, if you were out there, would you... There's Ferrari backwards. Oh dear. That's going to make it difficult to set a lap, but if you were racing out there, and there's another driver we're waiting for, I think, who's going to be starting from the back. I'll try again because I'll interrupt myself again. If you were driving out there, would you be, say if you'd done a 20.8, would you be going out again to try and get into top 10, or would you be just settling for P11 fresh tyres for the race?
I'll be very good question. I'll be settling for P11, so you get the fresh tyres for the race, get the best start possible in the race, because that's the best thing you can do is get the new fresher tyres. That's what I would do anyway.
Yeah, I'd love to do a 20.8 round this track, I'll be honest. But yeah, it's a very valid question, I think, to ask if drivers prefer to stick with what they got or try and risk it at the end for maybe a chocolate biscuit. If they're a good boy at the end, we don't know, but we'll see what some of these drivers just on the bubble of the top 10 decide to do. Let's find someone on a lap. Ronald is just started one in the Racing Point. So yeah, let's go off board with him and just have a look as he negotiates the track by himself with a little bit of traffic into turn 3, but he navigates that quite well. Let's see what kind of Sector 1 time he puts up there. 26.5 is quicker than he's been so far today, so this could be an improvement, and we will need to find out exactly how far up here we can go, but it's going to be a tall order from there to get high into the top 10. But he might get a bit of tow somewhere from another car, we don't know, but it says he's gone purple through Sector 2, so he could be improving more than we first thought, but even so, it's still going to take I guess a bit of a superhuman effort to get, well, 1.5 seconds off his time to challenge the leaders, but I'm sure he'll be trying to solidify his race position at the moment. As he comes around to the final corner, perhaps for the last time on his flying laps, and he's put the power down, and what can he do? 14th, 21.0. I think that wasn't too bad an effort for him, actually. Well, when you consider what he could have done, and the people in this tier are just closely matched. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3 in the 20.6 bracket, 20,000s between P8 and 9, and then 1,000th back to 10th. So it's very evenly and closely fought. This tier all the way down is going to be, by the look of it, as we've got Rail in the other Alfa Romeo. It is Rail, right? Or is it Rail? Sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but we'll call him that for now. 2909, that's what we'll call him. P3 for now. And here's the matter. Some people would like to say, what's the matter? And I think he might murder me after that, but never mind. He's on a lap, and can he improve by 2/10 to get potentially on pole position for the opening round of the race? I'm just trying to think about the run down to turn 1 isn't that long, so you would want to be towards the front, but it's not disastrous if you're not right in P1, I don't think.
No, it's not at all. You're correct on that. I think it's the best side anyway to go on is the left-hand side of the circuit is the best to get to the corner 1 around here. Because apparently it's not the dirtier side, that's the cleaner side, but then you're on the outside going into corner 1 though, so that is a bit trickier.
Yeah, it's one of these weird tracks where if you can't get pole, it's not the end of the world as we thought, but here we go. The Matter pops it up there. But you do want to be on the left hand side of the track into turn 1. It just gives you a better turning angle for turn 2 and sets you up nicely for the run down to turn 3. Whereas if you're on the other side, you could potentially have an incident, or you just can't have as much turning as you want, and you probably miss the corner altogether. So that's not what you want to do, but it's not the end of the world if things like that happen. Oh dear, got to get to where I can't scroll to anybody. Here comes Conrad round the final corner. Now last time I said he probably won't go top, so let's see what he does now. Yeah, he's done it again. It just didn't look as though for all the world that he was going to get a good lapping, because he went slightly wide and I thought he killed his momentum, but he didn't.
No, it didn't.
There's Quintin in the Mercedes. It's Sector 3. I think he's been off somewhere. He's probably an outlap or whatever. I don't know what's happening, but it doesn't look like he'll be improving on his P7, so it'll be P7 for him. And Brandon's going to cross the line after invalidating, so what's going on? Towing Tower's messing me up again. But this looks to be a very competitive grid already. We got Conrad, who's not going to be beaten for pole. We can probably lock that in now. Dukes on a lap, is he? I don't know. What's happened? We'll go down to 2 with the Matter, 3 Granty, 4 Mackett, who you said could be one of the ones to watch for pole position, and he's P4, not too bad. About half a second off where he wanted to be, but maybe he just couldn't get the lap in at the end. with track evolution. Maybe, you know, he's just focused more on the race. Didn't want to take too much out of the tyres, knew he'd be in the top 10. That's also a possibility. But what tyres would you want to start the race on?
Well, from what it looks like, everyone's starting on the soft tyres because it's low degs-ish circuit. But I would be what Matt Trav's doing. I'll start on the mediums.
Yeah. Mediums is a very valid suggestion, especially if there's an early safety car. You're already on the mediums. All the soft runners will probably come in for the mediums. So you've got to think about that as well in the early stages. You're not always out of it, especially if, like we think, someone down in the outside the top 10 will start on mediums. If there is an early safety car, they could be leading the race very early on, so that could be a potential bonus to go for as well, as we're just waiting for the game to sort itself out. I wish they'd sort this out, because this gets very frustrating trying to... Is he on the lap or what? Right, what's going on there?
I don't know, we have a glitch now because it says Kurt Magnussen's at the bottom of my screen now.
Oh, Magnussen joined us.
So I think we've got a glitched lobby, but I'm not entirely sure.
Well, that's always a worry. I know there's always teething problems for the first race, but it's not on us. Someone's just got to put money in the meter and just give it a kick. For the older ones among us who would understand that reference. But now, here's another question for you. 1 or 2 stops around here?
It's a 30 lap race, so 2 stops I think around here. And they'll... yeah, 2 stops. If you're doing softs, it'd probably be soft, medium, softs. Could do, or soft, medium. But you can do just the soft to medium, but it'll take a long time. It'll take, like, your tyres will get like really worn away by the end.
Yeah, that's where the hard tyres could come into their own. If you fancy chucking it on a 1 stop, then start on either the softs or mediums, do say about 12-14 laps, put on the hards and go to the end and see what happens with those around you. That's also another option, because the pit lane here isn't overly long, so there's very close to knowing between 1 and 2 stop, whereas if you're at Silverstone you'd probably want to do a 1 if you can help it, because the pit lane's about 40 seconds in total to navigate, and you don't want to be doing that 2 or 3 times, because that's just going to kill your race. However, we can now confirm the grid as we suspected. Conrad is on pole, Mata in P2, Granty P3, Mackett 4, Ray 5, Brandon, then Quintin with 1 N in 7th in the Mercedes, Zardi in 8th, Quinty with 2 N's in the Haas in 9th, Alonso 10th, Paul McGuinness in 11th there. That's a decent effort from him. Matty in P12, Dukes at 13, and everyone else underneath that. We will confirm with the race is about to begin. So I wonder what weather we're going to get. It's possible it could rain as well. That could have played the thinking as well, but it doesn't look like we've got rain today. So forget everything I just said. But you never know when it's about to start raining, especially on this game. And we're just 30 seconds or so away from getting underway on the formation lap, and that'll be the first time we know what people outside the top 10 are thinking. Are they going to be aggressive and go for it on the softs, or are they going to be more conservative, put on the hards or mediums, which I suspect a lot of people will do, and we'll take it from there. So looking forward to this one, and we will see exactly what they do very shortly. But I'm excited for this one. It looks like it could be a great race. Let's find out the tyres. Yeah, it's as we thought, majority mediums outside the top 10. So
I'm very
yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, so maybe knowing that, you've got the predicted strategy popping up on the screen now. For some of the drivers it'll be 1, 2, as we've spoke about already. But is there anyone you should feel we should keep an extra special eye on as a potential, like, outside the top 10 to possible podium? Is there anyone here that can pull that off?
Drivers that are good in this league, outside top 10 as you say, Mad Trav's really good. He won the championship last year, so well he was up there anyway, so I would say Trav in 14th, to look out for him. And I would say Dukes, I would say that's about it at the moment for outside the top 10 there for a podium, but anyone could get a podium. It's anyone's game really. And I'm very surprised with Mad Trav as well, because he's gone for the hard compound of tyres. Is that I think that's him maybe saying go now all the way to the near the end and then put on just some softs and then finish the race. That's what I'm thinking he's thinking now.
Yeah, that's always a possibility. If he's got the harder at the start, he's planning to go deep into this race. And you say he won the title last season. He did by 9 points. It was a very tight battle, but he just won out in the end. But it wasn't so tight in the constructors, as I said earlier. Renault got it by 24 points in the end, so that's a battle race win between them. So I'm sure all the constructors, as I look at last season's standings, were pretty evenly matched from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. They're very close. And then you got Race Point down there on its 7th. Haas just beat Red Bull to 8th in the end with a couple of points, and Alfa Romeo will hope for a much better season. So we've got that out of the way. And yeah, strategy is going to be key today, and Dexter starts in P19. Look out for him as well, because if he can hook up the start, he could be up there. But we're getting the lights, so when we get the game to start, that would be appreciated if we could get the proper angle. Thank you. Here we go. There's some lights, and no lights, and away they go. Now who's going to win the race into turn 1? Is it going to be Tiger? Is it going to be Conrad? I don't know what's going on anymore. Timing Tower does its thing, and there's been an incident. It looks like the mat has hit the wall, but he hasn't retired, so that's good for him. He'll probably put on the hard tyres, as there's only a yellow flag in sector 1, as he seems to be the only car that I can see that has damage so far. But penalty early on for Mackey. Has he got a puncture or something? Because he just seemed to be very, very slow off the racing line. But I think he's okay. I think he just may have had a bit of a moment and got on the grass. But Duke seems to be struggling with handling at the moment. Is there anything that you can see further on down the grid as I'm looking at the leaders?
Yeah, I was just looking further down the field, and I think Alonso has a problem because he's going very slowly right now at the back of the field. So I think he was the one you were thinking of with a puncher, and Zardi had a spin as well.
Oh, that's unfortunate action pack for them. But yes, Alonso is the one that I did see a puncture. I just couldn't work out who it was. So thank you for that. It is unfortunately Alonso, who's got a long crawl back, and if he's now the tyre is completely delaminated on itself and spun him round. So you have to be very careful. I mean, I suppose that's one way out of it. But he is struggling at the back, as you say. But let's have a look at the gap. It's just over a second from first to P2 right now. So DRS is in effect from next lap, so for now Conrad is very comfortable, but they are on the soft tyres that are used, so might not have as much life in them as you might expect. But Brandon is harrying P3 all over the back of him, so if DRS was activated now, he'd be the first beneficiary.
As I can see from further down the order very quickly, everyone from 13th down to 18th is pitting. So that is Paul on the mediums now. We have Quintin with 2 ends. Mackett, Quintin and Matrav, they've both gone onto the pits, but they're all on. So it is, just to tell you, from 13th down, it is soft, hard, softs, hards. Sorry, medium, hard, then it's a soft for the Matter, and then it is another set of mediums for Tiger Bolt.
Very interesting strategies early on, as there's Alonso spinning again and he's been lapped already. It's what happens when you get a puncture on lap 1. You have to drive slowly so you don't break the car, but if you drive slowly you get lapped, and that's unfortunate, but I'm sure he will keep going because there's always a chance that someone will trip over someone else when they're pushing later on in the race. But I'm fairly certain he'll put on the hard tyres at this point and see what he can do. Treat it as a test session, but DRS is active now, so let's just try and find a battle where that's going to come into effect.
And as you were speaking, Alonso was put on the medium tyres, so it's very interesting there for him. But yeah, the battle, if you need a battle, by the way, there is Brandon in P4.
Yeah, I was looking at all the deltas, and I'm kind of not surprised he's put on the mediums, but again, I am, because I would have, in that position, I personally would have put on the hards, but I guess there's merit to both ways. But this is a good battle for P4, as you quite rightly point out, and they are around the problem area, which I expect a few more people to crash at, and they haven't yet, so that's good for them. And there's a 3-second time penalty to Matty there for track limit infringements. But can Brandon make inroads on this coming lap, because he will have DRS? So we'll stay on board with this for now, and I'll keep an eye on all the other deltas as well, and I will switch when I see them dip below a certain time. But is anything that I could perhaps be wary of in the next couple of laps? Do you think people will try the undercut?
Yeah, I think people will. I think it'll be a good opportunity to do that, but there's a very close battle, probably not right near the back of the field, which is the Mata and Zardi for P16. That is now down to 0. There it is. But Mackett has just got past Matty there, as we have, he has there.
Sorry about this, we have no intervals for now, so we can't work everything out, but I will take a quick look at that battle down between, no I won't, because Matta's in the pits. What, oh Jesus, it's getting a little bit damage is why he's in, so he must have got a little bit too close to the car as battling, but we still have no deltas, so that's awkward. But we'll stick on board with Granty, as he's about a second-ish from the lead, so we'll, yeah, there we go, I'm getting it back now, slowly, as everyone seems to be a little bit out of sync, but we will get those intervals with you as soon as we can. We'll just keep watching, and there's quite a few battles inside the top 10. I mean, P4 is behind P3 as well, and then you've got P9 just gaining on Dexter in P8, who's had a great start. As we said at the top of the race, Dexter could well be up there, because I know he's good on strategies, he just sometimes doesn't get the luck he deserves. Let's see why there's a yellow in sector 3. I think it's probably just someone's in the pit lane. Maybe they had an incident on the way in, and I don't know, but oh, that's Dukes is out in the Ferrari. Where's he done that?
If you want to know where he did it under the bridge, just after the start line. So if you know that little bridge,
yeah.
Under...
Okay.
Yeah.
Proper Ricardo style then, after he lost his front wing. Interesting. So unfortunately we have a retirement already, and it's not in a conventional place, but we've still got some sensational battles to come in the next 25 laps. The two Mercedes are next to each other on track. Where have you seen that before? But we are going to stay on board with this battle for P9 at the moment. There's 3/10, and it looks like Phantom is going to get past Dexter very shortly, so we'll keep on board with this and watch it happen. Or not. we'll see.
It's got even closer now for P4, by the way, just to say. Down the first DRS straight of the lap, not the start line, so the second DRS straight, sorry, on the lap, and Brandon went to try and go down the inside of Ray, and didn't get past, so that is holding up there.
Yeah, it's always the way. You look at someone and nothing happens, you click off them, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I've missed something. But Dexter's really hard to pass. Looks like he's using everything that he can in the car just to keep that car behind him. And he gets that turn quite right, and he looks like he's got a slightly better exit as well, and he looks like he's pulled away ever so slightly through this phase of the race as well. But they are both on medium tyres, so they're probably just going to match each other for a bit. But we'll stick on board with this, see if we can try and force a way through under DRS, but I don't think he's going to be close enough on this occasion after that. And Paul McGuinness gets a 3-second penalty there, and Trav joins him. I think he just wanted I don't know, but they both got penalty at the same time, roughly, so Dexter's driving quite well, and if I say that anymore I will give him a commentator's curse, so I will go and look at someone else. Look at the two Mercedes boys battling. So we get a nice shot of the wall there, thanks Cody's. Oh, Sir Hamrick's had issues on the hard tyre already, and he's retired in the pit lane. So that's another retirement, unfortunately. And let's check out these Mercedes battle, as they are sticking to about the same time, but P9 is really hassling Dexter now. Let's actually go back to that battle, as he seems to be as close as he's ever been so far in this race. But the DRS just isn't powerful enough down through the pit straight, but he'll get another bite at it through into turn 3. So let's see if he can use that as a catalyst to potentially put the pressure on. But Dexter takes the pressure quite well so far, but another few laps of this, he might not necessarily do that. Let's check Brandon's progress now, who you mentioned was also in a battle with Ray. And yeah, so just there's so many battles. It's a good job you're here, because I can't keep up.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, there is lots of battles in this league. Like when I was last season by myself doing 10 rounds, you just had to go through so many of them to try and find them, which is a lot. But yeah, the gap of the lead's gone down. It was 0.9, it's now 0.8 again, so it keeps fluctuating around 0.8, 0.7, so...
Okay, that's always one to come back to in a couple of laps perhaps, but I'm very curious as to see what Brandon can do with Ray and what Phantom can do with Dexter, and also what the two Mercedes do, although looks like Quintin's dropped off from his teammate a little bit over the last lap or so, so it could be a case of trying to get the undercut on your teammate, which he'll be aware has at least one penalty, so we will go through penalties towards the end of the race just so we can have a look. But I'm just curious as to how penalties will shake up this race, but at the moment there's some good battles to be found as well.
Yeah, Ray just made a tiny little mistake, and Brandon now has closed that gap to 0.3 now, so it really is going to happen. It's going to probably happen down the third DRS zone, I would say.
Yeah,
we've got to just wait and see at the moment.
There's every chance of that happening. I'm just trying to keep an eye on why there's a yellow flag. I think there's a Renault going slowly through sector 2, but it seems to have corrected itself now. So luckily there's not been a major incident. He may have just run wide into a corner, and that's a mistake there from Brandon, who repays the favour from Ray earlier on in the lap, and the gap's about the same as it was. And there is Ray into the pits, as is the leaders. So Brandon is now running around in P1, and it looks like he may be going for the hards for a one stop, and Quintin in the Mercedes stays out, and his teammate pits, goes on to the hards. So it's definitely the time to push now for Quintin with 1N in the Mercedes. See if he can jump his teammate with the, or if his teammate gets the undercut. Have a fascinating intra-team battle there. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, and there's 2 cars not moving on the map, so let me try, and there we go. It looks like Zardy and Paul McGuinness have had a bit of a coming together. Is there any damage? It looks like Paul McGuinness might have some wing damage, because he does. That's ruined the progress he was making, so he will be in probably for the hard tyres, but wouldn't be surprised if he puts on another set of mediums. But let's just hope he can get it. Yeah, there we go. It's quite a narrow pit lane as it is, but with no front wing, you could easily overshoot that and go into the wall and knock the wheel off. But luckily he hasn't done that, and he's in the pits for hard tyres by the look of it, and he should be good to the end.
As already, Conrad has got past Matty for P number 3 now, so Matty on his 9-lap old mediums wasn't going as quickly as Conrad was. So Conrad's now back into the lead of the race because Conrad then, and Brandon and Quintin with 1N go down the order now because they're pitting a bit later, so the undercut did work.
Yeah, it's a very undercut heavy track, but if you leave it two laps, it doesn't usually work. So 1 lap is probably the point where you can hammer home your advantage of the brand spanking new tyres, while the competitors around you struggle with the scrubbed older tyres. And you've seen the advantage there for Conrad already. He's nearly 2.5 seconds in front of Matty, who hasn't been in yet. So Granty's probably the one behind him you should be looking at on the hards. They're both on hards, so they're both planning to go to the end, so that could be opening the door for people on mediums at this point to have fresher tyres later in the race. So don't count anybody out just yet, but I'm going to look at Ronald now. I don't think we've featured him much today, so let's give him some camera time, as he is about a second behind Ray, who has just pitted on for the hard tyres.
Yeah. But then they now have Brandon behind them as well, who literally last lap just pitted as well, so could be interesting here to see what happens down the start line straight.
And there you go, that is Brandon into P7. Just as you say that, he's gone for a move. And I was looking at the deltas throughout the whole field, and I was about to say that the Mercedes seemed to be a bit further away than they were when they were both on the same tyres, but Quintin with 1N has the... oh, there's a VSC out. What's that for? Let's see if we can find out as we scroll through the field.
Crashed. So, I don't know where it was, but
Paul McGuinness is out.
Retired.
Oh, we're on board with... Tiger now, who's coming up to where his car was. I think he's just got on the grass a little bit too much, or put too much salt down. He's just speared him into a wall. It's unfortunate, the nature of street-like circuits, but that is unfortunately Paul McGuinness out of this race, joining Hamrick and Dukester, Ferrari driver. Let's just leave it at that. I will learn these names for next week, I promise. It's just... there's a lot of names I've been struggling with, but I think I've got most of them down now.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Like from last, just to quickly give you to everyone who is watching, most of last season was the SFR guys in this league, so they're all pretty much last season people. Dukester and Granty were over last season as well, and then most of the rest of them, who I haven't mentioned yet, are not last season. So there you go. Just to give you some ideas.
Yep, thanks, much appreciated, and I will.
That's all right.
I will definitely do a better job of name pronunciation next week. But Quinty with 2 N's. We need to. You think with a name like Quintin, you'd be the only one in the league, right? But there's 2 of them, and I've never met more than 1 Quintin in my life. So to have 2 in the same league is baffling to me. But congrats to both guys. Now, is 1 or 2 N's the way to go? We'll find that out over the course of the season, I'm sure. Ronald is less than a second off Mackett, so let's stick on board with those for a minute, as that seems to be the closest battle we have at the moment. I noticed Dexter's pitted under the, under the VSC for hard tyres, so he's going to the end and he's in P11. So what I said at the top, looks like he's on the great strategies for a good result today. P11, and that's yeah, a disconnected car. I think he's just gone through him, but anyway, or maybe he's lapped. Dexter's having a great race so far. But now back to the battle, as Brandon is 2 or 3 tenths behind now. He's never been this close. Well, last time he got to about this distance and made a bit of a mistake, so hopefully he will have learned from that. But it might have been possible for dirty air to affect his car. Yeah, this is the only battle I can see at the moment, but I'm sure you'll keep me posted if someone else is lining up a move.
I would indeed. Just very quickly, Phantom, just to tell you the gainers and losers. Phantom up 13 positions. Ronald up 8. We then have Madtrav up 5. We then have Dexter up 8 as well. And the biggest loser is the Matter down 11.
Yeah, it's not going to plan for the Matter today so far, but there's still time for him to do stuff, and he's still in the point. So, as we said at the top of qualifying, points for the top 15 this season. The fastest lap point remains, but inside the top 10. And I think you get a couple of points if you finish the race, just for participation and just not giving up. I might have misunderstood that, so if that's wrong, I apologise, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. But
I will go for you now. I think you are correct.
Yeah. Brandon's still behind Ray though, so this is a great battle to watch, as we've been watching this whole time for the last lap or so. But I've noticed Dexter's now making a move for top 10, so we'll go on board with him shortly, but we'll stick on board for the rest of this lap with this battle for P3.
Yeah, you are correct. It basically says every driver that starts the race will receive 2 bonus points for attendance.
Excellent.
So there you go. And then it says, however, the drivers needs to finish the race to get the points. Irrelevant. It basically, yeah. So there you go. It has to finish the race. So
okay, that's what I thought. But good to know that I got that right. There was a little bit of contact there as we were talking with Brandon and Ray. They got a little bit too close to each other, but I don't think there was any battle. I think Brandon was able to put the brakes on, but now he looks very poised to make a move on this lap into P3. But nothing yet. Turn 3 is a tricky place to try it, but he'll probably just sit there in the slipstream and tow into the next DRS section and try it into the corner, because you can do that. You can surprise the guy in front by just putting it down the inside, and he's got nowhere to go but behind you. So we'll see what happens, but he is coming up to the left-right chicane, which is a problem sometimes when you're chasing another car this closely. Dexter's still about 8/10, so we will stick on board with this one for now.
And it's interesting as well with this battle, because when they are battling each other and they're keeping each other, like, they're slowing each other down, which means that Mackett can just close in, and Mackett has got that gap down from 1.6 to 1.3 now, so...
Yeah, of course, I completely forgot that there was a car behind them that could well be in this battle as well, because the more you battle the guy in front of you, then the more you bring the guy with you if the guy in front of you is fighting for his position, which you would do. It's P3, but also if you let him go, you might not have the problem for P5, because you slow each other down fighting too hard, is what my point was meant to be. But let's have a look at Mercedes of Quintin, who's half a second or so behind Ronald now, so let's have a look at that battle.
Oh, Phantom has retired, so I don't know if that was in the pit lane or not, but we have a safety car.
No, I don't think that's the pit lane. Yeah, I'm on board with the matter, and we'll see where his car's stricken if he gets there in time. It's around 2, 3, 4. I think what he's done is he's got on the pad a little bit too early through 5 and just spun up the rears and did exactly what I think Paul McGuinness did earlier. So that was unfortunately the end of Phantom's race too.
Would you pit now?
I would, yes. Depending on if I'd just pit or not, of course, but if I was still to pit, I would definitely jump in, but speeding the pit lane is not going to help. That's unfortunate, but yeah, I think I'd definitely pit now if I wasn't in the top 10, because I'd want the fresh tyres, and the guys around me might not necessarily have done that. So I think everyone on the hards could pit if they wanted to, but there's no need for them to on the same token. So this is a judgment call for each driver, but I think I definitely want a fresh set of mediums under me for the remaining 11 or so laps. So yeah, I'd definitely put on fresh mediums if I had them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. But so the drivers that didn't come in were, so first is Conrad, second is Mackett, they didn't pit, and then you've got Granty Boy, Brandon and Ray who did, and then Dexter who didn't pit. But I'm surprised because Granty Boy has gone on to the soft tyres.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also comes down to where you are on the track when the safety car is deployed. For someone like Dexter, there was no need to try anything. He's on the best strategy for the end, which means he may be vulnerable on the restart, but he will get those tyres back where he wants them to be relatively quickly, and he's looking very promising for a strong haul of points in this season opener. But Conrad still leads the race, of course. Ooh, it's all going off. I don't know where to look, but the safety car's going to bunch everyone together, so those with multiple penalties may start panicking shortly.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens here, because the safety car's going to probably stay out to about lap 20, so maybe this lap and maybe one more, and then you will have a 9/10 lap sprint to the end.
Yep, 9 quality laps racing with other cars. That could be very fun to watch indeed.
Yeah, it could indeed.
but there's a multitude of tyre compounds out there, softs, mediums and hards, so I don't blame anyone for going on the fresh softs, of course not. That's probably the preferred thing to do, but knowing the nature of this track, I think I'd just prefer, as we mentioned a moment ago, I'd prefer the mediums. I don't know how you'd feel in this situation. What would you do? Unfortunately, with this game, is lap cars can't unlap themselves. So, in real F1, Alonso would be released to go round again to be on the lead lap. I think Tiger's been lapped as well, so he would also be released and they join the back of the queue. But unfortunately on the game there's no chance of that happening. But Alonso's right behind the leaders, so it would be beneficial if he could do that, but unfortunately it's not the way this game works at the moment. So hopefully maybe on a future game we can have that. But oh, Brandon nearly lost it behind the safety car. That was a good save. He was weaving, it was like he got a little bit too hot and just locked up to keep it out of the wall, but we've got another lap of safety car action at least, and we will have a very frantic finish. Safety cars breed safety cars, so you never know what's going to happen, but we're in prime position to find out. As these cars just go around again, is there anyone now you should look at out and think this guy could win the race? Like from outside the top 3 or 4 perhaps? Because we think Conrad's in control at the moment, but you never know what's going to happen. But I'm thinking someone like Dexter could do something, and someone, maybe Matty or one of the Quintins could do something on the mediums, so we'll see. But what would be your pick of someone to watch for the last 9 laps?
Somebody to watch for the last 9 laps. I'd say it'd be a great battle at the front between Conrad and Mackett. That will be a really good fight there. And in the mid-pack, just for everyone who is watching, if we do go into the mid-pack, I would probably say Ray, Dexter, and Brandon would be a nice battle there as well. I know that's a bit further down, that's not really that far down, but that would be a good battle as well. And then Mad Trav and Quintin for 8th and 9th would be good as well. Yeah. And the safety car is coming in.
Yep. As we talk about that, the safety car is in his lap, so Conrad is effectively the safety car now for a bit. So everyone will have to stick behind him and get their tyres at their preferred temperature. And Conrad can go whenever he likes. But he has let the safety car go long into the distance, so it doesn't hamper them as he come around the final sector. But for now there's no sign of going, and I don't think he'll go until he's round the penultimate corner. There's no real point to do that. It's very twisty and stop-starty at the moment, so we'll see. When he goes, everyone will follow, and he's gone. There you go, you see, he's got everybody sleeping a little bit. Even me, I thought he would go now, but he got a little bit too hot, got on the curb, and that's given Mackett a greater restart. So this battle is well and truly on, as you say. This is going to be a great one to watch, and they've left everybody else 2 seconds behind. That's a great restart. Oops.
It is indeed, as you can see, as you can see here, you've got like 5th all the way to 4th, so all the way down to about 7th, all battling away here.
There goes Brandon on the inside of Dexter. He makes it, but there's a couple of people getting 5-second penalties for ignoring yellow flags in there, so maybe they went a bit too early, I don't know. Maybe the stewards could look at that if drivers feel compelled to complain about it, we don't know, but seems a bit harsh to get a few people that got it, but I didn't notice too much movement there. But we are on board with Trav, who's up into P5, but can he make it stick? I think you'll find he can. That's a great positioning of the car, and Brandon is also pressurising Ronald now, and that in turn means Dexter, Quintin and the Matter will get on the back of that battle for P6. as Brandon goes round. That's an unusual place to do so, so maybe Ronald's got damage because he's gone wide and he's slow. I think he's got a problem there, but Matt is starting to P9 as well, so this race is all of a sudden getting the... Was that a car backwards there, or am I just imagining things?
Yep, Ray just spun around.
I did see it. Aha!
You did.
Whew. Oh, there's a few people going into the pits. I'm not sure what's going on, but there's a pit lane in the party. Party? Oh no. Party in the pit lane, I should say. Whoops.
Granty boy though, right at the front of the field.
Yeah, definitely at the front, but Dexter's in P6, look. He's having a stormer of a race. How does Driver of the Day work? Do we vote for that, or does the game give it to them? Or what happened there? I know there's a bonus point for Driver of the Day, but do we pick that, or...?
I think whatever the game gives it, I think.
Okay.
Because I know the game gives Driver of the Day out.
Yeah, it does, but sometimes I disagree with the game. So we'll see what happens, but...
So I think maybe we can do ours as well then.
Yeah, we'll leave it to the game for now, but if we're allowed to, we'll start next week, I guess.
Okay.
The Dexter's under pressure from Quintin in the Mercedes. As Quintin is on the medium, so he should have a little bit more usability from the tyres, as Dexter just struggles perhaps to get the hards up to proper temperature, but he's very handy in a straight line though, Dexter's setup. It's pretty tricky to pass as well, as you've noticed earlier in the race. He kept I think it was Brandon behind him for 3, 4, 5 laps, so that was a decent little battle there, and he's doing the same again to Quintin in the Mercedes, and that in turn is bringing the matter along with him, so there could be an almighty tussle for P6 on the final couple of laps. But for now, we've got Conrad in control of the race from Granty, who does have, as you can see by the rectangle next to his name, some penalties, and I'm curious to know exactly how many. There you go, if you need to know. There's a lot of penalties handed out by the game, some for ignoring yellow flags under the safety car, some for track limit infringements, but this race is not over until everyone's crossed the line. And in fact, just trying to work out the potential podiums with all these penalties. I think Dexter might end up getting one, you know.
Let me have a look. Yeah, I think it could be Dexter actually for a podium here, as Ray.
Has he just lost it, or is he retired in the pit lane, or...
He has lost it. And by the way, at the moment, for the point of the fastest lap, it is a 1:22.885 on Granty in second.
Okay, yeah. But will it stay second? We'll find out, but for now, he's definitely getting the fastest lap point. Because I think he will finish in the top 10, but it's a question of how far down is he going to tumble with penalties. It's going to be a grandstand finish, as we like to say in the trade.
But look at this, Granty boy now right on the back of Conrad. I know it's not for position technically because of the penalties, but he is right there.
Thought about it into turn 1, but didn't quite get close enough to stick his nose alongside him. So, unfortunately, he stays P2 for now, and if he can get enough of a gap behind, it's not going to affect him too much. But Mackett is also in trouble, as he doesn't have as much of a gap behind and has penalties, and is it less than Brandon and Trav behind.
I am just quickly going to say hello to all 8 of you who are watching. Thank you very much. We do appreciate it.
Indeed we do. Thank you everyone that is watching, and thank you for welcoming me to this league and giving me a chance. I know I'm new here, but appreciate the chance that you've given me, and it's always good to watch a race of this magnitude.
Oh, we're in full safety car again, because Quintin's now out.
I don't know what happened now. I looked away for 2 seconds, but Quintin
was it? Oh, it's... We're about to head to it now, so hopefully he doesn't actually retire his
I'm on
car.
board with the other Quintin. Oh, that's an unusual place.
Oh, yeah,
That's quite unusual. I'm not sure what happened there, unfortunately. Oh, dear.
I don't think... Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think some people are going to gamble on a pit stop, but Dexter's decided he wants track position, because this is going to be a 2-lap shootout at the end. And this, I couldn't think of a possible more exciting way to open a season than this, but this is going to be a storming end. It's gone from grandstand to a stormer, and that is what happens with an unfortunate incident. I'm still not entirely certain what happened to 1N Quintin, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. But for now, that's really opened up the midfield battle, and people have pitted for fresh softs because the opportunity was there, but I'm not entirely certain it was the right thing to do. But we'll see. I might be wrong on that, but people have a lot of track position, and the safety car won't be out for very long, so let's finish this race. This is going to be amazing.
If it's normally like what safety cars are for end of races, it's either 1 or 2 laps and that's it, and then they come in. So we'll be either having 27 to 29 green, or 28 29 green.
I think it's going to be 28 green. I think too many people have dropped off the back of it now for it to come in. I mean, those that say that were hoping it will go in now, because they've got a significant enough advantage for it to not matter them. But here come the rest of the pack through sector 2. They are catching up, so I think we are going to get one more safety car lap and then we will be green for my calculations. But nothing about this game makes sense, so I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, it could be like literally last second safety car calls it in, but I doubt it. Let's just see then.
I've seen it happen on this track, to be fair. It has happened to me, but it has carried on round. So one more lap of safety car and we should be green. Lap 27, 28 and 29. And those that didn't pit are thinking, maybe I should have.
I think that with Conrad and... I think that with Conrad as well, you should.
Yeah, that's always the gamble you take with a late safety car, pit or not. It's always going to be a gamble. If you pit, it might be the wrong decision. If you stay out, it could be the wrong decision. It always seems to be the wrong decision you make, and everyone else around you benefits. So we could have a charging Grant Quintin, who granted doesn't have a penalty anymore, so he must have had a stop-go on his pit stop, so that's refreshing to see. He can go for the win, as can Quintin, who's on 5-lap softs. There's about the limit you can get with one cool-down period on them. And then Ronald and Zardi could come through as well on the softs, but there's a severe collision further back from Trav and Mata, so I'm sure he'll get that looked at later. But ignoring yellow flag, that's never... I don't know what he's done to do that, but unfortunate that... I'm expecting Conrad to be in control very shortly of the pack, as the safety car will possibly be in. I haven't seen the notification. Yes, I have. There it is. Right on cue. It's making me look an amateur.
Just to say, the Matter has actually retired from the race.
Oh, well that's something I'd missed.
Yeah, so that going straight on at corner, I think it was 6 or 7 anyway, has made him retire from the race. Very surprising.
That's surprising and unfortunate that he's lasted this long, but he'll still be, I guess, classified as P12. So, anyway, Conrad is now in control of the pack, and he's waited a little longer than he did last time, as he got too hot too early and slid. But I think he'll go any second now. Mackett's right under the ring, but has to slow down, and that could cost him the position, as Brandon could have more grip and more speed to take into turn 1, but he's going to go around the outside, but he's gone a little bit too deep on the grass and has to lift. So that should be... Oh no, Mackett's... there's the car everywhere. Mackett's gone... Where's he gone? Down to P6. That's Dexter into P5. And Dexter's up for this one, with the freshest hard tyres of all. So he's... I mean, it's not great to have 15 lap old hard tyres, but they are 3 laps fresher than the other 2 out there on hard, so he should, in theory, have a little bit more grip he can execute over the last couple of laps, whereas Conrad's just trying to get round, as is Mackett, who may or may not have damage after that incident, and he's just falling backwards down the field. Has he got damage? I think he might have minor wing damage, but he's just not had a good restart. Zardi's got past Dexter, who hasn't given up the position yet. Can he get it secured? They're side by side, and one of them has to yield. This is not a corner you want to go too wide, and he's done so. Dexter keeps the position. Whew. Who else wants to have a go at a position on the final lap? Let's find out.
We have Granty Boyne for the lead here.
Yeah, he should have the grip and possibly the speed of a Conrad as well, who's just trying to get round on these worn hard tyres, and he's got very fresh soft. So in theory, Granty should be able to breeze by down the straight, but it's catching up is one thing, but overtaking is quite another, as a famous commentator used to say. I'm looking forward to seeing the classification at the end of this race, because I have no idea who's getting that final podium position. It could be Zard, it could be Dexter. I mean, I don't think it's going to be Trav or Brandon. They have penalties still, but let's stick with his battle for the lead. He's sending it, but he doesn't quite get it right and gets a little bit on the grass. But I think he's gonna have one more chance around the final corner if he can get the great exit. And he's round. He's tapped him, and that could open up a whole world of what is going on. Dexter's right behind Zardi as they come into the penultimate corner. But Conrad has won this race. Trav is second. Brandon was third. Granty's back up to... What is happening?
Who's going to get third here then? Let's have a look. And it's going to be Matt Trav.
Trav, wow. Third. Now you picked him out earlier. So congrats on that. But Dexter will be thrilled with 5th place. If you go quiet, you can just about hear the celebrations from Dexter there. I think he'll be more than chuffed with that 5th place. He's had a brilliant race. Let's see who the game gives driver of the day to, as we get the podium sitters in for a quick chat.
I'll invite them now for you.
And Dexter is driver of the day. There you go.
That would be my pick.
That would have been mine as well. So for once I agree with the game. So well done, game, you got something right. But while you get those in, I'm going to go over the classified order. Conrad pretty much controlled the race today. He went light to pole, light to light, with Wynn never really wavered from first position, even in the pit stop phases. And then you have Grant in second, and Madtrav, even with 11 seconds, came third. Zardi close 4th, Dexter 5th, Brandon was 6th, Ronald was 7th, Mackett's in 8th, Tiger Bolt was 9th. Quintin with 2 ends classified 10th. Alonso will be 11th. And the Matter is classified P12, even though he retired in the final stages. And Quintin, the same thing, was in 13th. And Matty 14th. Rave, as you pointed out earlier, finished 15th. Phantom, Paul McGuinness, Hamrick and Dukes never really got going today, unfortunately, and they are also retired from 16th downwards. What a race. A lot of action.
Indeed it was. But yeah, thanks for that. I am now going to go, but it was a good race.
Yeah, thanks for joining me, and see you next week, I guess.
Yeah, and just to tell you, Granty says I don't think he wants to speak tonight, so because he's a bit I don't know why, but he probably doesn't. But
yeah,
I've invited the other two as well, so hopefully Mackett and all the other two join.
Yeah, well,
hope Granty does join, but if he doesn't, then that's fine.
I'll give both drivers a moment to join, but I saw one join, so that was there. So we'll.
Let me have a look.
Hello there.
Oh, I just need to invite one more. 1 second.
Okay. Oh.
Matrav, do you? Mackett, do you have Conrad as a friend? Does anyone in the party have? Let me have a look, see if I've got Conrad.
I've got Conrad.
Yeah, can you invite him, please?
Yeah.
I'm not used to party systems where I can't see who's in it. Awkward.
That's fine.
I mean, I assume third place is in here.
Yep.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for the winner, I guess we'll start with third place, because as first place isn't here, it would be a bad idea to start with them. Just want to say welcome back, and you finished third today. Can you walk us through your race and how you're feeling right now?
It wasn't the great. Starting off, it wasn't too bad. Starting from P14 on the grid, I think it was. And first corner, I got hit from behind and ended up hitting another car. So that was my front wing gone. So I had to pit then, and from then it was just head down and sort of just keep pushing. Yeah, then safety car came out. I went on to softs. It went well. I got more damage in my front wing from all the chaos in front. Someone spun and I tapped them, gave me more damage, but I carried on. Yeah, then next safety car came out, I pitted, changed my wing, and then yeah, that was that really. Yeah, I got bumped from behind, so I'll send that to the stewards for a 5-second penalty removal. But yeah, that was it. I'm quite happy where I ended from where I started.
Yeah, you definitely had an incident-filled race and a lot of incidents which, I gotta say, I didn't think were your fault, and it's probably the case of the car behind you slightly tapping you, giving you an unfair penalty, so I'm sure the stewards will get that removed. And it was a great drive for me today, so well done on your third place. Are you looking forward to Bahrain next week?
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely am. Bahrain's probably one of my favourite tracks, so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for your time, and I'll look forward to seeing a masterclass from you next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, moving on to the person that finished in second place. You seem to have a bit of an easier time of it than third place, so walk us through your race. Are you happy with your second place? But congratulations and welcome back for the second season.
I see that we don't have second place here, so you'll have to go straight to first.
Okay, I'll go to first then. Thanks for your time, P2. I appreciate it. I may have forgotten that you said you weren't coming, but anyway. Conrad, congratulations on the first win of the season. welcome back. You've done it in style. Can you walk us through, are there any moments you thought the win might not necessarily happen for you today? I guess. No?
His mic seems to be muted. I don't know what's going
Yes.
Oh, sorry guys, can you hear me now?
Yes.
on. Yep.
We got you.
Sorry. First of all, I just want to dedicate this victory to Adrian Denason, one of our fellow F1 sim racers that passed away this week. I raced a few times against him, and I'm sure he'll be missed among a lot of people. And first of all, qualifying went great, and the race started off well. When the safety car came out, I decided not to go into the pits because I thought the guy in P2 wasn't going to pit, so I stayed out. Surprisingly pitted, and came out in third. So I was like, did I make a mistake? And and then the second safety car came out. He pitted again for softs, and all of a sudden on the restart, I saw he was from fourth to second. I don't know how he managed that, but that was a great drive from him. At the end, the car was just sliding all over the place. I was trying to get the maximum out of it. And I'm pretty sure if P2 didn't spin at the last corner, we would have had a drag race going down to the finish line because, my tires were just done.
Yeah, I thought that might have been the case, but you definitely held on for the victory you very richly deserved. And how are you feeling ahead of Bahrain? Are you looking forward to it, or...?
Bahrain isn't actually one of my favorite tracks. It's not one of my most hated tracks, but I usually don't do that well there. But let's see what next week brings. Maybe a freak safety car or something gives me a great chance. But can't predict the future. But I think it'll be a fun race. Maybe a DRS train. And I think the rest of the season, if the first race went like this, I think the rest of the season is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for your time and congrats again on your victory, and we will see you next week in Bahrain.
Thank you very much, guys. Cheers, have a nice night.
Yeah, thank you, and you. Right, well everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's been a great race to kick off a new season, and we've already got one winner in the bag. Can he make it 2 out of 2 next week? Can someone else stop him? We will see you next week to find out around the polarising track of Bahrain. Some drivers seem to like it, some drivers don't enjoy it as much, but I'm looking forward to it either way. So we will see you next week. Goodbye.